Welcome to Woman Over 50. I'm Linda Barnaby, and I have with me today Darla LeDoux. Hello, Darla.
Hi. Hi, everyone.
So glad to have you here. I've been looking forward to talking with you about your business and how you help people in it. So let me give everybody some information about you, and then we'll get started. Is that okay?
Awesome.
Great. Okay. So Darla LeDoux is a business coach and a retreat leader and a recovering chemical engineer in her previous life. And she's the founder of a company called Aligned Entrepreneurs. And since 2009, she's helped thousands of entrepreneurs around the world discover the power of intimate retreats to transform their clients' lives and build thriving businesses based on freedom, intuition, and connection. So welcome, Darla.
Thank you. It's great to be here, Linda.
Well, great. I'm so glad to have you. Well, let me start off by asking you a little bit about what motivated you to no longer be a chemical engineer and to start your business.
Yeah, well, a lot of things kind of added up, just like anyone who takes the leap to follow their dreams. But the moment that comes to mind right now is I was in a corporate training. I was in my corporate career for about 5 years at that time, full time. Mm-hmm. And I was trained as a coach. And I'm in this coach training, and in order to be an excellent coach, you really have to coach yourself and be aware of your biases and the things you're projecting onto people. And so we were being trained at this, and there were people from all levels of the organization. I worked at Procter & Gamble, very, big company with a lot of really smart people. And I realized that every single person there was grappling with being able to admit to themselves what was true for them. We were all kind of going to work, putting on a mask and giving our boss what we wanted in order to get promoted, and ignoring what we really thought, what we really felt, and what we really believed. And this training kind of forced us to crack open that shell and talk about it. And so there was something in that training, which, by the way, was a live retreat, that got my attention. And I just started thinking, if everybody got this, if everybody could get real with themselves about what they want and who they are and where they're going, the world would be a different place. And I couldn't let that go. It took me about 10 years to actually create a profitable business from that first insight. I knew I wanted to do it, but I was too scared, and I kept getting a new job or doing, reinventing myself in different ways before I got the courage to do it. But that's where it started.
Well, tell me a little bit about the kind of person that your business is designed to serve.
So our clients are almost all women. Every now and then we get the brave man that shows up at our retreats or in our programs, but it's mostly women who are heart-centered, have a lot of the soft skills like intuition, like an ability to make connections. They can see the big picture and understand how to guide people. And maybe some of the skills that are less traditionally valued in our society. When you're leading a retreat, which is the core thing that I teach people to incorporate in their business, those skills are so valuable and really life-changing for people. And a lot of times, a lot of women have those skills naturally, but we haven't ever thought to market them and charge for them. We give it away to all our friends, right? Like the woman who is the go-to for advice, or who's a safe space to listen to everybody's stuff, that would be the person who would make a great retreat leader.
And there's so many of us like that. So
do you relate to that?
Yes, it's just ingrained in us. It just comes so naturally for most of us. So, well, tell me a story about someone whose life you transformed through your coaching. I'm sure there are many that come to mind. So.
Yeah, something in the phrasing, I have to say, I don't transform people's lives. They choose to transform them by making the choice to step into the space and find the courage to follow what's true for them and make decisions in alignment for them. So it's not me. That said, the retreat is an amazing space for transformation, and the process of the retreats I lead and the retreats a lot of my clients lead as well. One person pops to mind who came into the first retreat with me. And I'm going to give an external description, which kind of represents the internal description. So she arrived, she was wearing jean shorts and a t-shirt and a baseball cap and glasses, and kind of slouched in her chair like this. And she had a business. She was a yoga instructor, and she went remotely to people's houses to do personal yoga sessions with them. Mm-hmm. And her appearance and everything about her energy field was one like, don't see me, don't notice me, don't look at me. I'm just going to hide out here.
And yet she was there. She was there.
Exactly. Yeah. And she totally participated, right? She did the work. She, went in front of the room. She shared, she did show up. Coming in, she was very much like, don't see me. After our work together, she's interviewed on major media regularly. She's always kind of, I don't want to say put together because it's not really about that, but she really, the insight that she got was that she had a lot of desires that she didn't believe it was okay for her to follow. And she'd been suppressing them since she was about 4 years old, and she couldn't have the thing that she wanted in the store, and decided, you know what, I just can't have the beautiful things that I want. Mm. And so, now she wears the clothes she wants. She shows up the way she's her authentic expression of herself. And she leads a huge group of women through her authentic expression, sharing, what's important to her, what she values, and inviting them into her programs and her offerings. So, but the big shift happened in that moment where she realized that she had shut down, trusting that she could have what she really wanted.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Well, and so the work that you do with women in leading them to learn how to create their own retreats really starts with helping them do the inner work they need to do. That's what I'm gathering.
Yeah, it really does. I've always, I was writing about this recently. I've always started all of the work with the inner work, because so often we go out and we can find online everything we need to know about how to run a business if that's what people want to do.
Yeah.
But what happens is between our ears, we go, but nobody wants that. That's not valuable. Who am I to do that? How can I, command a room,
right.
Who's going to pay for that thing that I would really love to do? And as someone who always got my accolades from getting good grades and getting a good job and getting a promotion and having the title and all of that, for me to make the transition to say, you know what, I just know that these principles that I live by have made me happier and lighter. And I want to share that with people and make a business out of it. That felt impossible in the beginning until I worked on my mindset.
Well, I have met so many women in this demographic of women over 50 who have so much to share, so many gifts, and as you say, have been giving it away for years and would love to make it into a business and share their gifts in a way that does create connection and intimacy in a small group setting. And so what would you say to someone who was just enamored of the idea of creating some small retreats? Where would they want to get started?
Yeah, well, I would say do it. And I'm really on a mission to have it be easier to create, market, and fill retreats and have that be a mainstream activity that it's easy. People get like, oh, of course I would go on retreat to lose weight or shift my health or shift my money story or whatever it is. So do it. Like the more of us who are talking about it and owning it, the better. In terms of getting started, I have a little process that I use to help people pull out what their gifts are from their past roles. because you want to understand, how do you want to be working? Like, what do you want your life to look like? What skills do you want to be using? And how do you want to show up in the world? And then the second biggest thing is to decide, who do you want to give that to? And be really specific about that. And that's the hardest part for those of us who love people. It's been hard for me. It's easy to say, well, this, can help everybody. But the more specific you are about who you serve, then the easier it is to know what they need at your retreat. And then the other piece of advice that I would have is, there's a magic that happens in the space of the retreat that you don't even have to work that hard to make the transformation happen. There's something that happens when a group of people with a similar commitment get in the same physical space, that a lot of the work happens just by the fact that you're guiding them in the same space. And so don't overthink or stress too much about getting it perfect, especially the first time.
Wow, that is good advice. That is, and I know that, deeply, I understand that, but it's something that I think most people wouldn't think, consciously. That when you get people together in a group dynamic, magic happens, even if there's no agenda. And so imagine what would happen if you have an agenda, right?
And it's a lot about the power of intention, right?
Yes.
And the energy of it. Because when we come in and we've said, and I'm very spiritual in my approach, I believe that our intention, we partner with spirit. And so we get exactly what we need to help us grow. Mm-hmm. And so the intention, if 10 of us are coming from different parts of the world with the same intention and bringing 10 different perspectives and all of that energy together, it's just incredible what happens. And so I teach that there's 4 pillars of the retreat. One is you, one is your knowledge, one is the participant and their intention. And then the 4th is just the structure, like the location and the dates, and those 4 things come together to create the result. So you're just 1/4 of the equation. So don't get too stressed.
Ooh, that kind of takes the pressure off, doesn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
You're getting me excited about maybe putting together a retreat.
All right. I love it.
So, well, I know you mentioned a few topics, but I did want to specifically ask you the question of what topics are people most easily filling their retreats with. And I know that you're going to say that you need to teach what is in your heart and who you need to serve. But all that aside, what are some of the hot topics that and of course, any topic that you have, if you're passionate about it, you're going to find the aligned entrepreneurs or retreat goers to fill it. But what are some of the ones that are most commonly successful?
That's a great question. So a lot of people, when they come to me, they've already kind of been in the place of studying different teachers of online stuff. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people are doing transformational work, whether it's healing in some form physically or emotional work or, mindset work, but they've been told that they can't sell that. That people won't pay for that. So a lot of people are coming in as business coaches.
Yes.
Right? Mm-hmm. Offering services to entrepreneurs because that's what they've been told they have to do to make money. What I think is interesting is there's a trend right now among entrepreneurs back to mindset, where so many people have learned all of the bells and whistles and the techniques. But they know they're not embodying it, or they've got a physical injury or something like that they need to deal with. And they're not going to go to their local, doctor or even wellness center. They're going to trust someone that they've connected with in the business world who gets them and where they come from. So I believe that things like health and wellness, embodiment, sensuality, more and more women are realizing if we cut off that part of ourselves, it's harder to run our business and be fully present and empowered. Those types of things, in particular for business owners, are doing really well.
Wow.
It is my goal that every human being on the planet makes a decision every year to say, oh, this is the the area of life I want to tackle this year, and let me find a retreat to go to set that in motion. Right now, a lot of people are focusing on the entrepreneurial space because we're already bought in, right? We know we're the CEO of our business, so we're committed to investing in ourselves.
Right, right. Well, and also along with that, what are some locations? I know your website is just wonderful. It's just so packed with inspiring and motivational information. And you talk about one of your goals is to hold more retreats and hold them in the destinations where you have the most people interested in, being that they're collected in one location. That's where they live. So are you advising people to do that model as opposed to holding retreats where you live, the retreat organizer lives, or going to a foreign country?
Yeah. So the first thing is you want to know the life you want to live. So do you want to travel or do you not? At first I always wanted to go to a new place. Depending on the life stage, like right now I'm kind of staying in the Southwest. My father-in-law has been sick. And so we're wanting to be nearby to help out. So I'm not that interested in traveling a lot. So you can change it based on you. You don't have to feel stuck based on your client, and because they will come to you, they will come for the transformation. That said, I teach two types of retreats. One is a connection retreat and one is a fulfillment retreat. The connection retreat is anyone can register. Maybe you have it on your website and they can go click and register, or maybe you do a webinar where you offer your retreat. And that's the connection retreat. The fulfillment retreat is offered within the context of a bigger coaching program. So maybe they have some one-on-one calls with you and a retreat, or they have group calls and a retreat. And so it's bundled together. The connection retreat, I recommend making it as simple and easy for people to get to as possible. So if someone doesn't know you, they haven't connected with you, it's not that they wouldn't go up to the other side of the world for 10 days with you, but it's easier to have them, come to Colorado for 2.5 days and get a taste of you. So that's the connection retreat. I recommend having that be shorter and convenient for people, and also a lower investment.
Right.
Within the fulfillment retreat, they already know you. They know they're going to get transformation when they get in a room with you. And so they're more willing to go wherever. That being said, there is a third type that I talk about in the roadmap that I have, which is destination transformation. And that's where you're taking people. It's just a one-time retreat and you're going to another country. To me, to do something like that, that's a high-end experience where it's all inclusive and it's a significant investment for people to come with you. A lot of people instantly, when they think I want to host a retreat, they think of an international destination and then they want to provide all the bells and whistles. We're going to tour 8 different places and have 6 yoga instructors and meditation people, and then they get massages and all of that, which is amazing, but it costs a lot and it seriously cuts into their profit. Most people are, out of the gate going to be nervous to charge what they would need to do to pay for that. So I don't recommend starting there unless Spirit is really calling you to start there. I recommend starting with something that's easier to deliver and easier to fund, quite honestly.
Yeah. Like a 1 or 2 day retreat, something like that, or 2.5 day.
Yeah. I recommend a 2.5 day retreat. So I have a whole system there. There's a gateway program where people get to know you, which could be a short workshop, or it could be a virtual class or something like that. And then you invite them to your retreat.
Wonderful.
And from there, when people really want to work with you further, you can offer a higher level program.
Well, our time has flown, and so I've got to get in some more questions before our time is up. I wanted to ask you this question. I love asking this question. Darla, if you had a year in which all of your living expenses were paid, and in fact, at the end of that year, your income had doubled magically, and when you returned to your regular life, everything would be as it currently is, what would you do in that year?
A couple thoughts come up. I love that question, by the way, very creative. The first thought is I wouldn't want to step away for a year because I love what I'm up to. So it's like, ooh, could I do that?
Oh, you can't change the rules.
So, yeah, so there's a couple things I've been studying. I guess I would study during that year. I'm studying healing, like physical healing. Years and years ago, actually, when I was still at Procter & Gamble, I took a Reiki training. And so that was my first foray into any woo-woo stuff, we'll call it. So I would study different healing modalities just for my own interest. And then I am also learning to be a songwriter. So I don't know. I feel like I've never shared that with anyone except my wife. So,
and you're a singer? You're a singer already?
No,
just a writer. Okay.
I'm just a writer. Yeah.
Awesome.
So, yeah, I would take some classes. I'm here in Los Angeles at the moment, and there is a whole school where they teach songwriting, and I would go take some classes, which I may anyway.
I've got chills. That's so exciting. That's so exciting. Well, tell me, we're going to need to end this pretty quickly, but tell me what is the most helpful piece of advice that you would leave our woman over 50 viewers with?
Start and take action before you're ready. There's nothing I've done that I've ever felt ready for. There's always that sense that, oh, I could just prepare a little bit more. I could just get it a little more perfect. And once you're in there doing it, then you actually see what you need to change. But before you do it, you can't even see what you need to change. You're just guessing. So, and I believe retreats are one of the best ways to learn, because you can get a group of people together and lead them through an experience. And then afterward, you're like, oh my gosh, these are all the things that came up. They just taught you what you need to know for your next step. So do it before you think you're ready.
Great advice.
Great advice. Also, I mean, I think you were talking about trends, Linda, and I can't believe I didn't mention this earlier, but women over 50 are hot.
In more ways than one.
Seriously. Yes. I mean, it's like it's such a breath of fresh air, the awakening of kind of the coming together, I would say. You know, when I connected with you, I immediately thought of 4 different people that you should interview because they're, you know, in the same topic area. Wonderful. Because the only way we're going to shift what our society has traditionally been like is by coming together as a community. So I love it. Yeah.
Fantastic. Well, Darla, thank you so much for joining us today. And below this video, you will find Darla's links to find her website and how to connect with her. Thank you so much, Darla.
Awesome. Thank you, Linda. Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.